Last class we are talking about that type of heat exchanger, right? And we have seen that there is the two basic type of, sorry, two not three basic type of heat exchanger, like direct type, another one was recuperator type and regenerator type. And recuperator, we have seen that how by applying cell or cell and tube or double pipe heat exchanger or fin type, by applying this kind of heat exchanger you can do the heat transfer operation. Okay, so and we also discuss about how we can flow our fluid. It will be depend on your application, how much heat transfer you want. Okay, that thing we have already discussed, that why this particular portion it is very high and it is very low, and how we can compare in comparison to counter current and with the co-current. And we also seen the time that the temperature and length profile of that cross mixed flow. Okay, this thing till date we have discussed, but there is a few things still pending. Like, if somebody will ask how you will solve this kind of problem, how you will solve this kind of numerical, how you will approach, that is the biggest challenge. Because if you will check the profile, it is not straight line or declining or increasing pattern. It is some type, some like little bit curve type of nature. Okay, so and one more thing in the heat transfer, whenever you want to determine any kind of, if somebody will ask could you draw the temperature profile, then you have seen that your pattern is like this. Here will be decreasing and here will be little bit curve nature, and it will go like this. At that particular point here is little bit curve. Why? If you will check in your notes, I have dictated this part also. Because if you will check here, here the thermal conductivity of solid is completely uniform in the whole solid surface. If it is solid, or you can say any kind of brick kind of surface, where the heat transfer here, the temperature it is T1 and it is, so here little bit curve type of nature. Okay, at the boundary, because here at the surface conduction will occur and then convection will occur. So due to that reason there is a small curve. Okay, and here also same thing will happen. And similarly, whenever you will talk about that, when the fluid will enter co-current, or you can say the parallel flow or counter current flow, then you see the pattern, it is in curve nature. Okay, so to quantify how much will be the temperature difference and how you will determine how much would be that temperature difference from here to here, yesterday we have seen that theta 1 we have assumed and here theta 2. Okay, so to determine this particular pattern, because it is not uniform, now you can see theta 1 it is changing with respect to length. Now you can see how much it is delta, no sorry, that here T hot minus T cold, here it is different. Okay, here it is different, and when you are moving ahead it is different. Each and every point it is different. So to calculate this kind of temperature difference, we generally looking for LMTD. Let me show LMTD approach. This is LMTD, logarithmic mean temperature difference. There is two type of approach. One is AMTD, sorry, AMTD, arithmetic mean temperature difference, and second one it is the LMTD, logarithmic mean temperature difference. Actually, I need little bit discussion on this, because whenever you will solve problem related to heat exchanger, definitely both term will come into picture, but both have limitation and advantage and disadvantage. Generally, as I already shown, the profile it is not uniform each and every point. And similarly, if we'll talk about the counter current, now you can see the pattern is like this only. Okay, and here if you will determine theta 1, theta 2, But here, if you will determine the mean, then only you can claim, yes, I can easily determine how much will be that mean temperature difference in this particular zone. Okay. So there is the two approach to determine temperature difference. One is AMTD, arithmetic mean temperature difference, and second one is the logarithmic mean temperature difference. But arithmetic mean, it is not so much accurate to solve a particular problem. So generally what people do, people generally use logarithmic mean temperature difference, because there, as per their name, there is some kind of logarithmic term will be there. Okay, based on that it is calculating. And one more thing, if you will plot any kind of a straight line like y equal to mx plus c, ms plus c, now you can see mx. Okay, if you will plot, it will be like this, either increasing or decreasing. Okay, it will be depend, but it will show the linear relationship. But when you will plot any kind of plot like x, e power x, or logarithmic, it will show some kind of deviation. For that you can easily determine your variables or any kind of parameter in particular line. Okay, so this approach generally it is applicable to determine how much will be the temperature deviation into your in the inside the heat exchanger. Okay, it is not given in your curriculum. One more thing, it is not given, but we will see a little bit about. Okay, not too much. Now first of all, we will not solve this, but I have given for your that if you want to read, you can read. Okay, now you can see here they have derived the formula, how you will derive the LMTD formula. Okay, what he did, he cut this particular small segment, and now you can see each and every point theta, it is different. Now check, theta 1 it is very large, and here theta 2 it is very small. What we did here, we cut the small segment delta A. This is the temperature difference delta for that cold, and this is for hot, delta T. From here to here, from here to here, it will make the line straight. This temperature difference, same thing, this temperature difference for cold and hot. By applying your all the fundamental, that overall heat transfer coefficient we have already discussed, if you'll do the integration, this will be the final expression. Just we are interesting to see that final expression. Now you can see this is your final expression. Okay, theta m is equal to theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln theta 2 divided by theta 1. Just keep in your mind, this is your LMTD formula when the flow will parallel. But the theta 1, how much is the theta, how much is the theta 1? Theta 1 will be the difference of, sorry, this one, hot fluid in minus cold fluid in. Now you can see this is the difference. And theta 2, how much will be the theta 2? This particular term, theta 2, means it is the difference how much hot fluid is going outside from your heat exchanger and how much the cold fluid it is going outside from your heat exchanger. Just keep in your mind here the term theta 1 and theta 2. This is the value of the theta 1 and theta 2 for parallel flow. Now we will check the how much will be for that counter flow. Now you can see, and last class we have already discussed now these things, that counter mean they will be opposite in direction. Opposite in direction means they will form 180-degree each other. Like now you can see they are flowing in opposite direction each other. Okay, this is your cold, this is your hot fluid. Now you can see similarly here you have to determine how much will be the theta. Then what you will do, you will do the same mCpdt for hot and cold. You have to apply overall that heat transfer coefficient, leave it. We will directly look into that how much will be the formula. Now you can check this formula. It is little bit similar to that concurrent, but there is the one difference. Just keep in your mind that theta 1 and theta 2 values are very different. Formula is near about same. Okay, here theta 2, here first of all theta 1. Now check how much is the theta 1. Hot fluid which is entering, okay, and cold fluid which is leaving. Just keep in your mind that hot fluid which is entering, hot fluid in the counter current flow, hot fluid will enter and cold fluid will leave. That is the difference of theta 1. And here theta 2, that hot fluid will leave from that heat exchanger and cold fluid will enter. But in the case of parallel flow, as I already told, in the case of parallel flow difference will be theta 1 will be when the both fluid, hot and cold, entrance, the difference will be theta 1, and exit will be that theta 2. Okay, this is the difference, but formula that after the derivation what you will get, it is little bit similar. Now you can say this is the for the co-current. Okay, theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by theta 2 by theta 1. For counter current, formula is same, theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln theta 2 divided by theta 1. Okay, okay. And one more thing, if how, as I already told, there is the two approach, arithmetic mean and logarithmic mean. Okay, and generally people use logarithmic mean to determine how much will be the temperature deviation or how much will be the temperature difference, and by knowing this you can easily determine how much heat will flow through your heat exchanger. Okay, now if somebody will ask how you will compare based on based on your this particular formula, how you will compare in term of parallel, in term of counter, in term of cross flow, how we can compare? If we'll see this formula, if theta 1 equal to theta 2, what will happen? Theta 1 equal to theta 2, it cannot be possible for parallel flow. Just keep in your mind that theta 1 and theta 2 cannot be possible for parallel flow, but only it can be possible for counter flow. It can be possible for counter flow. Okay, just keep this in your mind. Okay, we have seen little bit about that LMTD, how you will solve, how you will approach. Okay, and this now arithmetic mean, I think you know that what is the meaning of arithmetic mean. You have to add both terms and subtract directly to cold fluid. And as I already told, it is not applicable. Why? Because it is not so much accurate. Okay, so people looking for LMTD only, LMTD only. Okay, so okay, we have finished everything, but there is the 2 to 3 things that I will show some pictures of cell and tube heat exchanger, because this particular segment is based on only equipment only, double pipe heat exchanger, double pipe heat exchanger, cell and tube heat exchanger. I will, this video, can anyone see? This video is visual to you, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. Then check. As I already told, there will be some kind of pin, there will be some kind of baffles, novels, cell and tube, all the thing will be there. Okay, this picture I have taken from YouTube only. Okay, for your understanding. Now you can see, first check the video, first check the that flow pattern. Here the liquid will go inside. Okay, now you can see liquid will flow inside. It will go in this direction, it will go in this direction, it will go in this direction, and then it will come out. Okay, this is the flow pattern. Okay, but if we'll talk about the tube, now you can check in the tube, it will be moved like this, and it will go from this particular, this will be entrance and this will be your exit. This is your exit, this is your I, entrance, and this is your cell side. And one more thing, if somebody will ask, if you have any kind of highly viscous solution, highly viscous or corrosive fluid, then if somebody will ask, where, in which side you want to flow your fluid, means you want to flow in tube side or you want to flow in cell side, can anyone answer that question? If somebody will ask, if you have two fluid, okay, one, it is at higher temperature and it have the higher viscosity, but one fluid which it is not much more viscous, but it is like a water. But another fluid which is highly viscous, can somebody tell where you want to flow, in cell side or tube side? Can anyone? Are you getting my point or not? Means I am asking, what I am asking, my question is, if you have two kind of fluid, one is highly viscous, okay, you want to transfer heat from viscous fluid to a particular liquid, okay, one you have only liquid, one you have highly viscous fluid, you can say any kind of mud, then which portion you want to flow in, tube side, tube, you want to flow in tube or you want to flow in shell? Okay, can anyone comment on that? Any comments?
So low viscous fluid in shell, in tube.
Pardon, Arjit?
Low viscous fluid in tube.
No, 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 no. If somebody will say कि you want to flow highly viscous fluid, then what you want to damage? If cell will damage, then economic cost will be, but it will be very high, because if you will replace the whole shell, it will be costly for you. So better to replace the tube. If you will replace one tube, that will be good for you. Okay. If some kind of fouling or some kind of scaling will happen inside the tube, you can easily remove and you can easily change that. If somebody will ask highly viscous fluid, then definitely you would say ki we will flow inside the tube. If tube will corrode or if tube will get damaged or any kind of scaling or fouling will happen, you can easily replace your tube. Generally, people flow cell side good quality of fluid like water or any kind of fluid which could not make any kind of corrosion or any kind of fouling inside the heat exchanger. Just keep this in your mind. Okay. Okay. Now check this video. Now, first see all the components. This is your tube. Sorry, this is your. Now, first see the video. Cell side, it is flowing. Okay, liquid will flow from this direction. This direction, as I already told, these are the baffles. Okay, to direct the flow and to increase mass transfer as well. Okay. Now you see the hot fluid is entering inside the tube. Okay. Now you see it is moving and it will come out. Okay, after the heat transfer. Now this is hot, this is cold. Now check which kind of gradient it will form. Now see, hot water will enter and here will be your cold water. It will go here, heat transfer will occur, then it will go here, heat transfer will occur. Now you can see the color visualization which is also changing. Okay, same thing, heat transfer will occur. Am I audible? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now see, as I already told how the heat transfer it is taking place. Now check. Hot water will come inside your tube, and it will come from here only. Okay. Now your cold fluid will go here, it will flow here, it will flow here, here, and it will come out. It will become hot. Okay. Now we will see one more video related to your double pipe. Okay. Now see the double pipe heat exchanger. Where is double pipe? Ah, yes. As we have discussed that when the cold fluid will enter here and it is hot, now parallel flow, what will be the pattern? We have already seen. Okay. Same thing we have already seen for co-current, counter current as well. Now check for the now check for your double pipe heat exchanger. Now you can see hot fluid come here. Now you see the flow pattern. It will go here, it will move here, and it will come out from that particular. What about cold fluid? It will go here inside the tube. Okay. And it will come out from here. Now check how the heat transfer will take place. Now here it will be heat transfer. When it will get first contact, now you can see the color it is also changing. Okay. Then hot fluid will come from here. Okay. I think you have seen, correct? These are the two type of heat exchanger which in your that curriculum it is written. And two more thing like evaporator and condenser, as I already told in the last class. Sorry. In the last class we already seen this condenser. Condenser. What does that mean? Condenser means you are converting your steam, which will be in high pressure, into your liquid, which is called as the condensate liquid. Okay. The condenser working principle. Now you can see how the cold fluid will that get heated. Now you can see temperature will increase. Okay. This is the temperature profile of condenser, where what you are doing, you are converting heat from steam to liquid. Okay, by adding any kind of coolant, or you can say any kind of water, any kind of liquid. And what is the working principle of evaporator? It works on the principle of low pressure. Low pressure means when you will add any kind of refrigerant liquid, what it does, it gets converted into vapor. Both, that is the difference between both. What you are doing here, you are converting steam to liquid, and here what you are doing, you are converting liquid to vapor. That is the basic working principle of condenser and evaporator. Okay. Okay. Then after this, I think we have finished your unit 3. Everything we have finished. Okay. Just go. Today I will circulate all the notes. Okay, related to your heat transfer.